This is the Go Maluku podcast.
Vamos! What's up, everyone? Ghazali Ohorella here, and my dear friend Jokabet Solano. And where the hell is Ini? He's
I don't know. Ini.
probably getting a cup of tea, maybe, or beer, maybe coffee, whatever. It's midnight in Glasgow and in London, and as usual for the last 3 days, we've been updating you as part of our COP26 countdown, a show that we started to get you and other people up to speed on what's going on in terms of COP26 and what Indigenous peoples want. And every day we actually dedicate to a question. So Tuesday, we started off with what COVID rules do COP26 delegates have to follow. We went in depth about that, and then yesterday we talked about what is COP26 and why should people care about it, with some information that Tomo Harada shared with us. And then today will be, what do Indigenous people want from COP26? What are the goals of Indigenous peoples at this climate change conference that is set to take place to start on November 1st? So we're counting down to that. And this is day 3, and then tomorrow. By the way, and before we forget, tomorrow will be a different time. Instead of like midnight London time, we'll go live at 6 p.m. London time or Glasgow time, which is a little bit more because everyone is then more in the same time zone, and then we can talk about who the players are at COP26, and the countries and the groups and everything else that goes into this big chess game called multilateralism and climate change. And obviously during the weekend we'll go deep into, on Saturday we'll go deep into the local communities and Indigenous Peoples platform facilitated working group. And on Sunday, we'll go deep on the Indigenous Peoples Caucus, the coordinating body of Indigenous peoples underneath the UNFCCC. So that's what we're doing the last couple of days. And today we're going to focus on what Indigenous peoples want from COP26. There are many different things that are ongoing, processes that are being discussed for 2 weeks in Glasgow, Scotland. And obviously, there's so many issues, there's so many Indigenous people, so there's no way that I could do it all by myself. So my dear friends Jokabed and Ini, who's still getting a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, whatever he's getting, or helping me out on this. And as people know, today was also the first meeting of the first session of the 6th meeting of the Local Communities and Indigenous Peoples Platform Facilitative Working Group that was held today. So it was the first in-person meeting since COVID. And for people that are interested, you can watch it online. Just go to the UNFCCC website, search for Local Communities and Indigenous Peoples Platform, and you can watch the entire webcast. But to save you the time, save you the trouble, Ini, who just came back with a nice cup of tea, coffee, or whatever it is. I'm sure he'll share with us what he's drinking. And Jokabed we'll share a little bit about what the goals are of Indigenous people for COP26, and also what has been discussed today at the 6th meeting of the Facilitated Working Group. We'll do this in 2 languages, English and Spanish, or Spanglish, so that we can cover most of the world in terms of the conversation that we're having. Ini, tell me, what do you...
I'll give you the opportunity to Jokabed because she was here before.
No, I was asking, like, what are you drinking? What are you drinking?
Sorry. Yeah, I went for a tea.
Right.
Because at this hour, come on, it's like midnight. If I drink coffee, I'm gonna stay awake until when I'm getting ready, like straight to
Right.
the meeting. So,
Mhm.
so it's Jocabet, ¿cómo estás? Bueno, déjame saludar a la gente, pues ya que empiezo, ya que, Jocabet, por favor, mejor tú, dale tú.
Un saludo especial a las y los hermanos en todo el territorio de Abya-Yala. Aquí estamos en la medianoche, 2:30 ya del 29. Entonces, haciendo el esfuerzo de poder compartir con ustedes un poco los antecedentes de las COP, pero también conocer un poco en el día de hoy qué esperamos los pueblos indígenas de la COP26 o qué queremos, en dónde queremos incidir en la COP26 en Glasgow. Entonces, hoy aquí estamos reunidos y Ghazali estuvo dando un poco un recuento de lo que vamos a estar haciendo en esta semana y que hoy empezó el grupo de facilitación del trabajo en los grupos indígenas. Y entonces hay varias noticias, pero que cada día vamos a estar actualizándoles.
Así mismo es, Jocabet. Y también recordar que hoy empezó también la actividad de la juventud aquí, ¿no? También es algo súper grande para ellos y es como es la COP, pero para jóvenes, la COP16, que entonces para ver que los jóvenes también se dejen escuchar, y es importante escucharlos porque no son las futuras, sino las que ya también hoy están tomando decisiones. Y hoy, como Ghazali mencionaba, empezó la sexta reunión del grupo facilitador de trabajo sobre lo que es la plataforma de las comunidades locales y los pueblos indígenas. Y sí, eso lo vamos a hablar un poquito leve por encimita. Ya el sábado tenemos el tema full para hablar sobre eso. Yes, Ghazali, so a lot of people today. So it was really nice to see our faces. I mean, after 2 years, almost 2 years.
Right.
And actually, it was really nice time to share also the experiences. And yes, I know that we are going to talk about the facilitative working group a little bit. On Saturday, we have the night is going to be to talk about it. So
Saturday is going to be the day that we'll go deep into the facilitative working group, obviously. I'm curious though, Ini, aside from what's been discussed at the facilitative working group, seeing all these familiar faces, I saw a lot of people on the live stream talking to them. What's the vibe? Like, what are people talking about?
Yes,
are
actually,
they optimistic, maybe?
Well, yeah, but I can say both, no, but as a first day, it's like full of expectation. Tomorrow is the day that we have to work to see like for each details how we would like to. But because today just was like what the inform, what they did per activity 4, 7, 9. So and where we are now. So actually, if you see where we are, I know that that everyone's would like to see the action already. Like we're doing other things, but maybe this like the reality that we have is not how we really want it, and that's one of the things that I use. So today, and the president of the COP26, he was there. He went passed by, and of course, saying that and that we are gonna hear the strong voice of indigenous peoples and everything. But saying is one thing, doing is another thing.
Right.
So it's that I can say a little bit about that we did today. But tomorrow it's gonna be like we go to work in each activities and how it's gonna be. So and we're expecting more people tomorrow. I don't know. Johnson is already here in
He's
Glasgow?
he's in transit. He's been able to pick up his visa, obviously. He's which is very funny. With Johnson, like you can actually track what he's doing. He's posting updates on Twitter as well as Instagram. So he picked up his visa, so he's ready to transfer or to go to Glasgow. So he'll probably arrive tomorrow evening, maybe local time in Glasgow. So we'll have and then I'll arrive in a couple of days after that. Before we go into like the theme of the day, obviously, just want to flag something, and obviously today's meeting, first meeting of almost 2 years, facilitated working group. There was one person obviously that was not there, that should have been there, that we all miss. We're talking about Estebancio Castorias, very relative brother, warrior as well. I saw a post that you posted on social media. Can you explain a little bit what that post was, what you shared?
So today Estebancio had like a post-mortem recognition by FILAC, and it was there. Pila was there to talk on behalf of the family.
And Pila is his son.
Yes,
so that people know, right?
Pila Killer, he's his son. So it's actually kind of like is this day that we start the meetings in the morning. I was talking about him, and so like I'm glad that I'm here and following what he started.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things he started. A few things that he saw like done, but there are so many things that we are just like working on that he's not going to see it. But what he did, it's amazing that it's gonna be like from all of us, that to remember people who was Estebancio Castro, and also in the meeting, Hindu mentioned him, and yes, as a family member also is touchable, and I'm pretty sure that his sisters and everyone there, they're really concerned about what is going on here in Glasgow, and maybe they are thinking, no, Estebancio is there, how he was traveling, working, and yes, so this was really nice to see like Filac recognizing that what he did. And Ghazali, I know that he like meant a lot to you, and this from your beginning and everything. So that's what I'm gonna say. Estaba hablando un poco sobre lo que es hoy. Filac entregó como unos reconocimientos a los guerreros en tema de lo que es el cambio climático o apoyo en general. Y hoy fue reconocido también acá el amigo, el primo, familia, Estebancio Castro Díaz, y como el Orden del Quinto Sol, un reconocimiento después de su muerte a la familia y a su lucha, ¿no? Porque el tema del cambio climático prácticamente no es tan viejo, y él empezó también con todos estos procesos. Y qué bien que lo puedan reconocer, y es una de las cosas, ¿no? Y yo en la mañana estaba recordando también, porque Estebancio era parte del equipo de facilitadores, ¿no? Él representaba a la región de Centro, el Caribe. ¿Qué más? Ghazali was representing the Central and Caribbean.
Yeah, Latin America and Caribbean region. The indigenous Latin America and Caribbean region.
Sí,
Yeah.
Es latinoamericano, es el Caribe. Yeah.
Sí.
Entonces tenía una posición bastante importante, lleno de responsabilidades. Bueno, ahora está el amigo Tuntiak, que debe estar escuchándonos en la cuarentena allí en Edinburgh, que I'm talking about it. You know that from the 1st of November, all the 7 countries are going to be out from the red list.
Yeah.
Man, it's unfair. It's unfair that they did it, but that's it.
Yeah.
So,
so people know the 7 countries that Ini is talking about, and red is the red program, the carbon the carbon market. Actually, red is also a carbon market. That's what Ini is talking about. FELAC is a hybrid organization, if I may say so. The Foundation for the Development of Indigenous Peoples in Latin America and Caribbean. So it's a organization that is led by Indigenous peoples as well as states, and for the development of Indigenous peoples in Abya, obviously. And this recognition for Estebancho is very well appreciated, I believe. Pila is Estebancho's son is this could be very proud of what his dad has achieved, and not only achieved but also the legacy he left behind. There's a lot of people that are Kuna and non-Kuna, indigenous and non-indigenous, that are following the trails that he blazed, actually, and that is following in his footsteps. So his impact post-mortem might be even bigger than the impact that he made while he was with us, and which is actually what we all want, right? In terms of legacy, we want to leave something behind that could pave the way for the next generations, for our children, grandchildren, and great grandchildren, I believe. I think that's at least that's how I look at things. All right, yeah. So obviously, the what we were supposed to talk about today is the objectives of Indigenous peoples at COP26. Hokabed, you primarily focus on the Coronivia process. In your own words, would you be willing to share a little bit of thoughts about like what it is, so that people understand what Coronivia is, and why you think it is important?
Bueno, en español, Spanish.
Yeah, Spanish or in English, whatever you prefer.
Sí, quizás para seguir con un poco la línea de Ini, antes de responder a la pregunta de Ghazali, que me hizo la pregunta de por qué es importante, por ejemplo, la participación de los pueblos indígenas, y en el caso específico él me preguntó sobre el tema de Coronivia. Antes de eso, decir que, bueno, dando también homenaje al hermano Estebancio Castro, pues nos estamos unidos, y de hecho me acuerdo que la primera vez que hablé sobre el tema de cambio climático desde las incidencias de los pueblos indígenas fue con Estebancio. Él fue el que me enseñó y me ayudó un poco a ver los procesos y me animó a participar de la COP25. Entonces creo que parte de su herencia también se ve en algunos que nos hemos interesado en aprender un poco más e incidir en estas luchas. Bueno, así que un abrazo a la familia más cercana, pero también a la familia Cuna, y también saludos a los que nos están saludando por Facebook en TV Indigena y en Maluku. Bueno, sí, en palabras sencillas, parte de los objetivos y de las luchas de los pueblos indígenas en esta Glasgow 26, sabemos que es muy importante por algunas tomas de decisiones que se deben hacer desde los estados, y sabemos que hay todo un juego de ajedrez, pudiéramos decirlo de esa manera, porque hay que mover algunas fichas para ver si hay alguna manera de que podamos tomar acciones concretas y ambiciosas con relación a la emergencia climática, al cambio climático. Y en este sentido, pues cuando trabajamos el tema de Coronibia, estamos también entrando al mundo de la agricultura. Allí se hace muy, muy importante pensar en cómo para los pueblos indígenas es muy importante la soberanía alimentaria. ¿Qué significa esto? Que los pueblos indígenas podamos seguir alimentándonos de la tierra de manera saludable, y reconocemos que muchas veces en nuestras mesas nos preguntamos qué nos alimentamos. Lo que nos alimenta habla también de nuestras propuestas políticas. Por ejemplo, las comunidades indígenas desde tiempos milenarios, nuestros abuelos y abuelas comían de la tierra, del maíz, el plátano, el cacao. Y hoy día cuando uno de repente puede pensar qué como yo en mi mesa, entonces una pregunta, ¿qué como yo qué tengo en la mesa? Puede ser que ahora tengo una lata de atún o de frijoles enlatados. ¿Qué significa esto? Que hay algún proceso allí que necesitamos seguir trabajando sobre el tema de soberanía alimentaria, porque el tema de soberanía alimentaria también habla de la autonomía de los pueblos. Y en este caso hay todo un tema de aprendizaje de las prácticas milenarias de la agricultura de nuestros pueblos. Es decir, nuestros pueblos indígenas eh, cuidan y cuidan la tierra, es decir, no violentan la tierra, sino que la dejan descansar. Son pueblos que reconoce que al cosechar y al sembrar la tierra, hay que dejarle un momento para que respire, para que descanse, porque hay una cosmovisión y una cosmovivencia, distinta a la hora de plantear que la tierra siente y no es no es vista como un objeto de producción y de extractivismo. Allí el tema de Coronibia entonces es muy importante para preguntarnos de qué manera los pueblos indígenas pueden aportar de sus conocimientos ancestrales y de qué manera estos conocimientos ancestrales también son propuestas para hoy día con relación al tema de cambio climático. Bueno, por otro lado, y termino para darle espacio a Ini y a Ghazali, también decir que cuando pensamos en el tema de Coronibia, también estamos pensando en el tema de género. Porque es muy interesante y muy importante que para las comunidades indígenas, cuando viven su narrativa de vida desde las sabidurías indígenas, reconocen el tema de complementariedad. Entonces hay comunidades indígenas, por ejemplo, como los aymaras, las hermanas aymaras, que ellas son las que cultivan las semillas. Las mujeres son las que cultivan las semillas. Todo el tema de la fertilidad va con relación al tema de la mujer. Y entonces allí pensamos en el tema de género, cómo las mujeres indígenas son las que menos daños le han hecho a la tierra, pero pueden ser las más afectadas y las más vulnerabilizadas con relación al cambio climático y cómo eso está afectando nuestros territorios. Entonces, este planteamiento también de la propuesta desde las mujeres, desde las colectividades de las mujeres, desde la sororidad, nos permite también reconocer la importancia de la soberanía alimentaria, del tema de género, del tema de los pueblos indígenas con sus conocimientos y cómo estas propuestas milenarias no han pasado de moda, sino que hoy día son muy importantes para trabajar políticas de estados que reconozcan, pero que también reconozcan los derechos y por lo tanto también podamos entonces, para esto, el objetivo de la lucha es que se pueda reconocer y la incidencia de las hermanas y los hermanos en Glasgow es muy importante para que se tomen en cuenta las propuestas.
Wow, importante. Ghazali y Jokabet, I think the working group of Coronibia they started today also. Yeah, and I don't know who are like. I know that Johnson. I think he was going to participate, but now on the time and everything, I don't know if he's going to do that or who is going to be in platform. But it's really nice also to that we are already talking about Coronivia is if it's part of the negotiation or not. No, maybe a lot of people didn't know even about the Coronivia uh, and what's going on and why we're talking about agriculture and why the name Coronivia. That's one of the things that maybe it's a basic thing that a lot of people they don't know it. They don't know why is the name. You know? Yo hablaba, le decía a Ghazali, a mi gente que habla en el español, que hoy también empezó el grupo facilitador también de Coronivia, las reuniones, ¿no? Y hoy estaba con mi amigo Tomohiro Harada. Saludos, Tomo, el chileno. Y fuimos a ver los pasillos, los salones de reuniones y todo. Y entonces allí pasamos como 3 seguridad y estaba el tema también que hoy empezó las reuniones de Coronavia, ¿no? Lo que es relacionado a la agricultura. Ya Joca explicó muy bien lo que en verdad es un tema relacionado a la tierra y nosotros somos parte de la tierra y sobre todo de cómo los pueblos indígenas miran desde esa perspectiva. Y todo esto se aborda aquí y muchas veces piensan que una persona, 2, 3 personas deben venir, pero es un tema tan amplio y muchas cosas y se necesita muchas manos, muchas voces para que se puedan ser escuchados en cada esquina. Going to you, Ghazali.
Sure. I'll give it a try. And the sort of people know is that there's COP26 is a climate change conference, but it is it's such a big issue and complex issue. Like you have to unpack it, and the climate change has so many impacts on so many levels. So it does impact indigenous peoples. It impacts businesses. It impacts youth, children, elders, anyone. So it has many streams, actually, many workshops and many groups actually that COP26 is like a ant farm. You know, there's so many. It all comes together, and it for 2 weeks. Obviously, Coronivia is one of them. It is a stream on agriculture, so it is about like the use of land and food systems and food development and produce development, which is super important to indigenous peoples, obviously. The question why Coronivia is called Coronivia is actually the UN has a funny way of decisions and processes. It gives it a name that is related to maybe to the presidency or the or to a city that where it was decision that was made. For example, the Paris Agreement. If COP21 was held in, I don't know, Marrakesh, it would have been called the Marrakesh Agreement. It's a Paris Agreement. Last year, or in COP25, the COP, the UNFCCC established a network on loss and damage. So making sure that there's small developing countries that need support to survive, to make up for losses and for damages that developed countries can provide it. So there's a network, and so it's called the Santiago Network on loss and damage. So it gives names to all these processes. Same thing with agriculture. The Coronivia workshop work on agriculture was actually really was manifested in Bonn at COP23 when Fiji was had the presidency. So the Coronivia is actually in the name of a research institution, I believe, in Fiji, which was called Coronivia. So they thought it would be nice to call the work on agriculture the Coronivia work on as a process. Funny thing is about the local communities and indigenous people platform, it was supposed to get a name as well. We were asked at the very end of the negotiations, what is the name that you want to give it? And they gave us the opportunity, but we like it was we never came up with a name. There were some ideas about the name, to give it a an indigenous vibe, a name to it. It's because local communities and